Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
The Northern Edition, good evening. I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you so much for joining us. Topping the news tonight, today was a big day for councillors elected in the local government Freeport district. The councillors were sworn in during a special ceremony this morning in the conference room at the National Insurance Building, and a new chief and deputy chief councillor were chosen. One by one, the 9 councillors who make up the new City of Freeport Council took the oath of office. In the presence of family, friends, and well-wishers, the local government practitioners swore to serve with dignity and pride. Administrator Alexander Williams challenged the new administration to take local government to the next level.
We must now move away from the fix and repair, clean up the park. We got to start working on holistic developmental projects. That is critically important as we move into the new age, the 21st century. And when we look around our regional partners and countries, we can take example.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry for Grand Bahama, Melvin Seymour, charged the councillors to serve their communities to the best of their ability.
You should motivate and you should inspire, always giving hope to those who elected you, those in the various communities around you, and indeed those in your care.
Former Consul General Kay Forbes Smith and former Deputy Chief Councillor April Crotha-Gow admonished them to stay focused on the business of the people.
We have to develop new policies that will affect people, and we have to look at the economic empowerment of our people in this community. And I think that is really the new thrust of local government.
You are now the new leaders. You could do what the MPs cannot do. When you get your budget, you are action-oriented, agenda-planned, community-based, community-oriented.
After the swearing-in ceremony, the 9 councillors were taken to a private room to select the chief and deputy chief councillors. Marco City Councillor Shavita Campbell emerged chief councillor, while Navarre Smith, who represents East Grand Bahama, will serve as deputy chief councillor.
We are on a new vision, new direction. It is my desire, and I'm pledging today, that I will work with each and every one of you in the capacity for you to serve your communities and the greater good of the island.
I will rise above all of the negativity and work with everyone fairly and squarely. Anybody who has a good program or initiative, I will put my full weight behind it to ensure that it succeeds in the best interest of our community. So let's stay positive, stay together, and rise above all the things that divide us. And once again, a new day is here. And
the new local government council in East and Grand Bahama is a combination of veterans and newcomers. This morning, they were officially installed during a ceremony held at the local government office in High Rock. Joan Davis-Roll has that story.
The swearing-in process for East Grand Bahama, a crowning moment for newly elected officials. Officials with the support of residents have committed to a life of service for the next 3 years. A highlight of the ceremony coming with the official naming and swearing in of the persons mandated to lead the local government charge in East End. Chief Councillor Gladstone Russell and Deputy Chief Councillor Marcus Cooper.
I believe things will get better for the East Grand Bahama. And most of all, I like for the people to come together and get ready for the challenge.
I feel today was, first of all, a game changer for the Eastern District. One of the things that we hope to accomplish in local government in East Grand Bahama, first of all, is to establish and to reinforce some level of accountability and definitely responsibility. And then secondly, to definitely do the mandate of the people who would have put us in.
There are major plans said to be in the pipeline for East and Grand Bahama, a proposed mega project along with other developments. And according to Deputy Chief Councillor Cooper, along with Councillor Shervin Tate, local government is expected to figure prominently in assisting in this transformation.
What's first on your agenda? You represent a new generation of East Enders and leaders from this area. How do you feel?
Well, I feel good to be young, and I feel good to be able to affect change. One of the things that I hope to accomplish throughout my 3 years would be to establish a youth multipurpose center in at least if one area or in all of the areas, so that young people can have some place positive to spend their time rather than being idle, repair courts, what's not. But I hope to definitely accomplish whatever it is that my people will have sent me to do.
I see a new team with vision. I feel confident within myself and of course with them. I think East Grand Bahama is going to be taken to another level with the team that we have now. And I just want to thank God and of course the folks in Sweetings. Hey, we got it. And I know Mr. Russell is going to be fair to everybody, equality. You're going to see more equality, more fairness. And that's what I think the people are looking for, to know that they have leaders they can count on. And I would be standing right there with my chief consular. You know, he is an awesome guy, and I know he would bring us a great, good work.
Okay. For East End Assistant Administrator Sherrick Ellis, the swearing-in ceremony marked one of his final duties as he retires after 45 years as a public servant. He had this advice for councillors.
I hope that they would take their swearing-in serious and that East Grand Bahama was always left behind. And I say to them that I hope that within this 3-year term that the East Grand Bahama will explode with new ventures.
Now that local government officials have already been installed here in East Grand Bahama, they say their first order of business will be preparing its residents for what is expected to be unprecedented growth and development. This as they attempt to move East Grand Bahama to the next level. In East Grand Bahama, reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Joan Davis-Roll.
A swearing-in ceremony for the West Grand Bahama District will take place at the local government office in 8 Mile Rock tomorrow. Several candidates were elected without contest. Simon Lewis, Anthony Bain, and Joseph Russell will represent the Hunters and Mactown communities. Ella Roll is the representative for Hepburn Town, Ann Russell for Williams and Russell Towns. Marjorie Darville and Lorna Knowles will represent Pinders Point. Linda Russell, Marianne Bonnaby, and Cleveland Simmons will represent Lewis Yard. In 8 Mile Rock West, Kevin Morris, Sophia Dean, Mary Roll, Walford Roll, and Denise Russell were elected without contest. Devin Brown and Sandy Thompson were elected unopposed in 8 Mile Rock East. Police say the man shot and killed Thursday night in Freeport has been identified as 22-year-old Jareth Barry. Reports say Barry was shot in the Coral Gardens area. He ran from the scene towards East Sunrise Highway, where he collapsed. He was taken to hospital in a private vehicle and later succumbed to his injuries. Police are still looking for the person or persons responsible for the fatal shooting. Barry's fatal shooting is listed as Grand Bahama's 9th murder for the year. Stay with us. There's more news after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Students in the Fresh Start program graduating this past Saturday night after many weeks of training. The graduates are now better trained in areas such as welding, QuickBooks, customer service, hair braiding and weaving, and general maintenance. The program made possible as a result of public-private sector partnership. Megan Shepard has the story.
The 15-week skills training program aims to provide the necessary skills to join the workforce. The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, officially opened the program and says he's proud to see the growth over the past 3 months.
Graduates, tonight represents the end of the Fresh Start program, a revamped program under the supervision of Mr. Turnquest. It's a 15-week employment skills training program that has provided you with the training and the employability skills necessary to assist you to get a job.
Director of Youth in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, Darren Turnquest, congratulating the students for their accomplishments thus far. But he is also encouraging them to continue their growth and education. His advice: surround yourselves with positive people doing positive things in positive places.
Today I say to you that this is simply a fresh start. And this is a journey to higher heights. You are at ground floor right now, but the floors that you can reach can be infinity. That decision must simply be yours. You've been given an opportunity to do something different. This might not be where you are going to end up, but it's your start.
A few of the graduates in different disciplines shared their experience over the past 15 weeks.
In trade class, I get to express my creativity. I get to bring my imagination to life, to satisfy every and any patron that sits in my chair. I got to advertise myself as a young entrepreneur, who by the way, is planning to open her own nail parlor.
Although, in the beginning, there were a few obstacles that tried to hinder me from grasping the concept of this field of study, but with perseverance, determination, and hard work, I was able to face those obstacles with confidence and overcome them and pass my course.
We went through the other aspects of our course like mixing and molding cement, carpentry, and electrical installation. Mr. Davis made each learning moment very interesting and very hilarious. And in the end, he got the job done by making sure we knew and understood what was being taught.
Turnquest also extending the services of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture to the graduates as they continue to build their professional careers.
We won't have jobs unless we had young people. And so although you are finished with this particular program, always remember that the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture door is always open to you. So on your completion of this, please do not allow this to be the last time that we see you. For whatever resource, assistance, even if it's out there looking for a job or helping with a resume, this is why we're here for you. And so thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your life. And I can tell you so much that Ms. Brown-Roker, myself, and our staff has been excited to be a part of your life.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Tomorrow will be observed as International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. In light of this, the National Drug Council and the Grand Bahama Youth Olympic Games Committee have teamed up to bring a greater awareness to this issue. Administrator Alexander Williams.
The committee that is responsible for organizing the event here on Grand Bahama is cognizant of the fact that the Bahamas, and indeed Grand Bahama, is no longer just a transshipment point, but lately we have seen that Grand Bahama in particular has now become a producing island.
A special ceremony is set for tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. Administrator Williams is inviting all youth and sporting organizations and marching bands to participate, as the focus will be on the youth.
The committee also recognizes that the targeted group of persons that the drug producers and traffickers have targeted is the young people. And so we want to make a special appeal to the young people to warn them of the dangers that involve with the abuse of drugs.
A motorcade will leave the YMCA at 3 p.m. tomorrow, ending at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex for the evening activities. Their overall mandate is to serve others above self. One of the local clubs on the island is taking on this challenge head-on. Its new team outlining new projects sure to impact local communities. Megan Shepard has the details.
The Rotary Club of Freeport holding its installation ceremony as it welcomes in a new board of executives. On July 1st, Queen Ro will officially begin her term as president. Under the theme Light Up Rotary, she says she wants to make a greater impact in the lives of Grand Bahamians through community development projects and looks forward to having a successful yet fun term in office.
As we focus on the theme for this Rotary year, I have a combination of an old and a new board. Some old and experienced, much wisdom. We will look to our past presidents for guidance. Many of them are still actively serving in this club. And we have fresh and enthusiasm from new Rotarians, new incoming members of the board. Together, we're going to focus on being relevant. We're going to focus on these community service objectives. We're going to have fun. We will take our responsibilities Seriously? But we will enjoy Rotary.
Guest speaker Patrick Ward says that over the past 50 years, the Bahamas has become a much more diversified country. With this diversity, he says, comes issues regarding several factors such as race, gender, age, sexuality, and religion. He says leaders within organizations must find ways to respect these differences.
Religious views and heritage, these impact what we have as values. And it also dictates to what extent people are going to be involved in the scope of activities that you may have as part of your plan in terms of what you want to do. And if you're going to be a good leader, if you're going to be able to bring people that have a different perspective together, you're going to have to take account of that to make sure that you are navigating in a successful way the challenges that come along with that. And there's the concept of power and money. And that has a lot of socioeconomic dimensions related to it. And some people have an orientation towards power and money that speaks to certain things. Some other people have a different perspective on that. And you bring those together, and sometimes they don't always agree or mix.
While diversity may sometimes present challenges within organizations, he says there are some benefits, including the improvement to teamwork and varied ideas to bring about positive results. He says leaders must use the diversity of its workforce to its advantage.
If we ignore this reality, then our ability to successfully lead even volunteer-based organizations can be negatively impeded as we scramble around in ignorance, wondering why people are acting or reacting in a certain way. On the other hand, if we improve our knowledge of the dynamics that are at play, then we can begin the journey to unleash the latent power that can come from having a diverse group of people and talent working together with a common purpose.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
While the fight against crime continues to capture national attention, a church in the Freeport area is giving focus to the family unit as a stabilizing force. The church family is trying to shed light on the problem and find ways to rebuild marriages and relationships and strengthen the society. Grand Bahama Christian Center is spearheading a covenant renewal conference. Richard and Lorinda Deboi out of Texas have been traveling the world promoting sound relationships. For the next 3 days, they will meet at the Pelican Bay Resort with the same message.
It's money. Money has a small part to play on it, but the main part of divorce is pride. Humility, the greatest weapon against the enemy in your marriage is not prayer. I'm not saying that you shouldn't pray, but if you walk in humility, he will cripple Satan, because that's one of the spirit that he doesn't have. Pride is what kicked him out of his rightful position in heaven. So when a man and a woman walk in humility, there's nothing they cannot accomplish.
First, to make sure that they have a strong relationship with Christ. Because if they start with Christ individually, then it will be easier for them to come together as one. And to marry, and I encourage young women to marry not out of pressure but for purpose. When you have a purpose for marriage, not just because of your age or not just because of security, when you marry for purpose, that purpose will hold together and overcome anything when the love is not always, when you don't always feel like you love them, when you don't want to love them, when you'll stay there for the God purpose.
Bishop Cardinal McIntosh believes this coming together will help men in the community.
The timing of it is that in the month of June, and we've just been celebrating fathers, and he's talking about the passion that if we're going to get it right again, it will be because, right, you've got the foundation right. If the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? And men, we are that foundation, and everything comes out of us. It may not have been your fault, man, but if you take the responsibility, God will turn it around.
Don't go away. Sports is up next with Ricardo Lightborn.
Everybody, and welcome to Sports. I'm Ricardo Lightborn. Let's get cooking. Sports tourism is a major facet of the Ministry of Tourism. Domestic sports tourism is also a priority. The West End Snapper Tournament and Festival was well planned from start to finish. Lots and lots of snappers caught this year. Team Breaking Wind took top honors, also the largest fish in the tournament. More importantly, it was based around the family and fun. The trip to West End was an eye-opener for many. Okay, Barracuda anyone? West End treat? That's what it was this year. Or for some, it was just simply chilling and enjoying the activities. Elaine Smith said the Bayshore Road site was ideal. Coffee on the Bay is where Rubens and Missick also camped out.
A lot of festivals coming out, but what we try to do in all the other settlements, we look at the things that is unique and authentic in those areas, and we showcase it as the culture so the guests and the visitors can experience what our culture have to offer.
I guess Junior Grant should be smiling about this one this week.
Oh, wherever he is, because he's our honoree this year, and he's one of those who had a passion for West End, and he loved to fish in this area.
Festivals is a major focus of the Ministry of Tourism. Barry's famous daiquiris was a must-stop to in West End. You name the flavor, Barry had it. The Minister of Tourism took in the tournament and festival, the home of hospitality and family.
I feel very good about it, as usual, and I feel very good that they've been able to pull it off in the way that they have. And again, it speaks to what we have to focus on, domestic tourism. Part of my ministry moving forward is that we're going to cause more events to take place in the respective islands to get more people to come to the islands, Bahamians first and foremost. Look at the Crab Fest just recently in Andros, and you saw where they attracted some 10,000 Bahamians. Well, if you can move the economy around that way, if you can get people to get to the various islands to events, signature events, then cause the economy to grow. And so as one island gets stronger and more Bahamians get to work, then those Bahamians have more disposable income and able to travel from island to island.
The 4th annual West End Snapper Tournament and Festival was on point. Next year is right around the corner, and expect much, much more. Well, folks, the Ministry of Tourism team that fished in this tournament came hard last. They only caught 87 pounds of snappers. Now, their excuse is this. They lost an anchor, so they had to go and find one that took 2 hours. But that still leaves 5 hours of fishing, guys. If you do the math, 7 people in a boat, 4 fish, 87 pounds of fish, and it's called feeding the fish, which means that the 4 of you guys caught 10.3 pounds of fish. That ain't cutting it, but that is sports.